here are the materials I'll be using to make a block print stamped tote bag. You'll need some block printing ink or acrylic paint. Ideally, you'll be wanting to use a fabric kind if you are planning on putting this onto any sort of fabric. A foam brush. If you do not have a foam brush, you could just use a regular paintbrush. However, this just gives a better result. A spoon to scoop out the ink, glue stick, pen, scissors, a piece of cardboard, a piece of craft foam. If you don't have craft foam, you could actually use a styrofoam container from takeout. You just want to make sure you're using the side that is just kind of blank. If you use the one that has lettering on it, it will distort your print. And for mine, I'll be putting it on a canvas tote bag. You could do this on just a plain piece of paper if you're wanting just an art print, or a t-shirt if you like. But I find in terms of fabrics, canvas works the best for this. So here's one that I've already done. So this is the stamp and this is the tote bag, of course. If you look at the tote bag, you'll see that there are details on the tote bag that aren't on the stamp. And that's because I find if you actually indent into the stamp, it fills with ink and then you lose those details. So what I've done is I've stamped it on, and then after it's dried a little bit, I've gone back in and added in those details with just a paintbrush. You could also just add in some details with a permanent marker if you like. And for the example that I'm going to show you, I'll actually be cutting out certain areas, so you'll be able to see what that looks like. First step is drawing out the design on the foam with the pen. I'm going to do one open eye right now, and I'm going to thicken up the lines so that I have a lot more surface area for when I'm printing. And I want there to be negative space, so I'm going to cut that out with an X-Acto knife first, and then cut out the rest of it with scissors, just because that'll give me a lot more control and prevent it from ripping. When I cut it, I'm using smooth snipping motions rather than little snips, because that'll give me more jagged edges, and I want that to be smooth. So for my second eye, I'm just trimming it up, making sure that it matches the other one, and flipping it over to make sure that that side is smooth as well. Now that I've cut these out, I'm gonna measure them to make sure that they're gonna fit on my piece of cardboard here. So I'm just gonna cut this in half so I have one separate one for the closed eye. Fit nicely, and now I'm going to glue them onto the cardboard, but I'm going to glue the side that I drew down. That way, if I had any mistakes or indents, they won't actually show up in the print. Before I put this onto canvas, I just want to test out my stamps on a piece of paper. So I'm just sponging some of that ink onto the stamps, pressing it onto the piece of paper, and making sure everything is how I like it. That looks good, so I'm ready for my tote bag. I'm just going to put a piece of cardboard inside of it to prevent the ink from bleeding through to the other side of the bag. All that's left is to stamp onto my bag. Because I am working with fabric, I will have to heat set it with an iron so it'll dry, and then I'll iron it to make sure nothing will wash off in the washing machine. But if you're working on paper, this is it.